Am I live? Am I live? It's another test. It's another test. Would you believe it? Right. Let's wait for this to kick in. I think I'm on a 30-second lag. And you'll see that I have my circular webcam. Right. Okay, so I need to check out my widgets. Super thanks. What is that? What is that? I don't even know what that is. Right. So since yesterday's live stream, was it even yesterday or was it the day before? I don't even know. Changed monitor. So I've now got my widescreen back. So I'm having to shuffle everything around. I've got a couple of new widgets on the screen. So I'll explain what those are in a bit. I just need to figure them out. The streaming software has got these new widgets, which they didn't have the last time I was using it, so I just need to figure them out. So this one that says super thanks is called a ticker. What does a ticker do? What's a ticking? What is a ticking, mate? Who am I talking to? I don't know. Someone here. Alright. It's Alex. How you doing, mate? Good. People have turned up. That's always a good sign. That's always a good sign. Right. That's just not optimal. The hassle I have had trying to get this goddamn stream set up is unreasonably, unnecessarily difficult to try and stream to a separate PC. You've no idea. And to cap it all off, my new monitor is widescreen, and I went for the 100 Hertz model, thinking 100 Hertz, that's smooth, crispy, mate, buttery smooth. I can stream at 100 Hertz. And then XSplit went, no, you're not, mate. You ain't streaming at 100 Hertz because apparently the codec that XSplit uses or YouTube uses, I don't know, one of them only supports 60 and then 120. Because why wouldn't it? So what a waste that was. Yeah, that happened. Right, so well, clearly the chat ticker isn't working, so I need to figure out how to sort that out. Right, I thought it was just gonna sort itself out. YouTube live chat viewer not connected. Well, why not? Please provide a valid video ID. Why would I do that? Why would you not just connect into the stream? What's the video ID? A ticker should be a text that scans across the screen. But what's a ticking? Is that not just regular? I mean, it's got to be ticking something. Is that not like messages or something? I don't know. I need to find my video ID though. Is it in the dashboard? So yeah, don't expect to see anything of any particular interest in this stream. This is just testing. I found a whole bunch of widgets in XSplit. I need to try and figure them out. All right, Pascal, mate. Yeah, Pascal. I'm trying to use XSplit for something productive now. Oh, the fun I've had with XSplit over the last 24 hours. Honestly, like I thought, because your VRED, mate, if you, I don't know if you've found this out yet, but when you're doing a recording with XSplit and then you enable ray tracing, XSplit loses its mind. It goes bananas. All the audio that, even before you even turned on ray tracing, all of your audio just seems to go out of sync. It's like the encoder that's rendering the audio and the video together and putting it into the however video writing works. It just all loses its shit. So what I'm doing is I'm streaming from my main PC through an HDMI cable to a capture card in another PC, and then XSplits on this other PC. And oh, the fun I've had with that. It's mostly audio. Like, of all the things, like 5 hours yesterday I spent trying to get the audio. I mean, the audio works. It's supposed to feed the audio through the HDMI cable from my main PC into the capture card on the streaming PC that's broadcasting, and it does. Except it sounds like it's being broadcast through an old 1999 Motorola phone, and I have no idea why. If I load up like the Elgato native recorder, it's fine. XSplit sounds garbage. 5 hours I was on it last night, and then it just started working. And all I did, I think I changed the refresh rate of my monitor from like 100 back to 60 and then back to 100, and it started working. I was like, well, what a waste of my life that was. But today, it's just started being broken again, and I did what I did last night to try and fix it, and it's still broken. And I just thought, you know what? Bugger it. Can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. So I've gave up. So up until now, XSplit's not been a bother, but it's given us all kinds of jip. So yes. Anyway, there's worse things going on. I know, right? Do you like my little circular webcams? I can't remember. Sorry, I forgot the name of the guy that pointed it out yesterday. But someone suggested I get like a little circular little frame for the webcam. It might be helpful for maximising visuals. So yeah, I'm not actually streaming much today. I'm not going to stream anything today. Today's just getting the ticker and that set up and getting the stream working. Make sure it's fine. If anyone subscribes, that kind of stuff, I've got like oh, you can see it. Oh, yeah, that's not even supposed to be visible until someone actually subscribes. This one here. So I need to. Why is that even showing? That should be gone. Hide. Right, that's gone. Type subscriber, super chat, sponsor. So I can create one for all three. Right. Well, I've got a separate ticker for super chats. So when I do streamsies for realsies, which is probably going to be from tomorrow, anyone chucking super chats, it should bring up a little ticker that says so-and-so has super chatted so-and-so, and then it'll come up as a little message on the screen. Back in the day, mate, when before XSplit and YouTube got their shit together and did all their own widgets, you had to link to Nightbot and stream this, that. There's all kinds of third-party plugins for it, and it was a right chew on. Yeah, I linked to notepad files and text files on your desktop to log all the stuff that came through and read notes onto the streaming application through a text file. It was a right hassle. But fortunately not anymore, right? So I've hidden that. So that's the subscriber alert. Do I even need that? I mean, do I really want anyone flashing it on screen when they're a subscriber? Probably not. What's the sponsor? I think a sponsor is when someone does the channel membership thing, which I haven't turned on yet. I don't think that's set up, so I'll probably turn that off. I'll leave it on for now. I want to see it work before I figure it out, before I realise whether or not I want it on or not. But at least it's off for now. Right, that one's gone right. Super thanks. Sweet, great story, mate, but you can show alert. So what's that? So that's what a super chat alert should look like. Is that too big, too small? Oh, right, bye then. I'll probably make it a little bit smaller. Oh, there. That'll do. Right, but I do need the live chat to be burned on, so back to the old story of needing a video ID. Video ID. Throw us a clue. Does my stream have a video ID? Well, it's got a hyperlink, but that's not really an ID, is it? This is a sample stream test. Right, anyway, I'll figure that bit out later on. Alright, let's make sure the visuals are alright. Let's open up a car scene. Make sure the bitrate's alright. I look back at the last stream and the bitrate, it seemed to be a bit choppy when I was orbiting a model around pretty quickly. It seemed a bit choppy. But I'm sure there's a way I can increase the bitrate. I can stream at 4K, but then I think you lose the ability to rewind the stream if you stream at 4K. But if you stream at 4K, I think you get a better bitrate, which is better for graphics. Right. Testing the bitrate. So I need you lot, because obviously I'm looking at my monitor, so this is like true color and 1:1. So I need you lot to let us know if it's choppy, is it pixelated, is it crappy. And then I'll turn on ray tracing, and then there should be a test. I mean, I know it's going to work because the GPU is going to go nuts, but it's going nuts on my PC, which isn't actually doing the streaming, so it's not actually going to affect anything. Oh, where's my shadows gone? Where's this sorcery? Okay. Right, I'll have a look back on that and see how that looks. I tell you what though, mate. Tell you what. I found something that for 6 years, I say it would have saved me about 5 minutes per video that I've done on YouTube. But right, every single time that I do a video on YouTube, right, I open up my application, because what I'm looking at is a 3440 by 1440 monitor, right? It's that wide. You can't see my hands because they're outside of the circle, but it's super wide. But the videos that I render are only 1920 pixels wide, so I'm actually only recording like at the top left hand corner of the screen. So every time I record a video, I've got to take the application, let's see when I look at it. So I've got to take the application that I'm actually creating a video on, and then I've got to kind of drag it so it's exactly 1920 by 1080, and it takes flipping ages. And sometimes on some of my videos, you'll see like a little gap down the side or at the bottom where I've not quite done it, or it's like nudged a little bit. And I'm like, oh, you watch it back and you're like, that's infuriating. What I found is there's an application called, it's like a little indie application called Sizer, which you can just right click and you get this little, make your window 1920 by 10. Look at that. Boom. Who knew? Who knew? The amount of time that would have saved me over the years. So I found that that's good, because that's what's being streamed out to my capture card, that top left hand corner. Well, actually my whole monitor is being streamed to the capture card, but then XSplit's cropping out the top left hand corner of what it's receiving. What a chew. What a chew, mate. How are you doing, y'all? So it's not going to be a long stream. I'm just testing, make sure the tickers and stuff are working, which they're clearly not, because I haven't. The one I really wanted to get working was the chat one, and it wants an ID from me, and I can't for the life of me figure out what bloody. Yeah, I'm going to Google it. What am I going to Google? XSplit YouTube chat video ID. Oh, come on. YouTube live chat viewer via HTML5 account event. Select the event ID of the YouTube live chat you want to display. Select event. Mine doesn't say select event. Oh, it does. It does, but it isn't populating with anything. What just happened? YouTube. Oh, that was a oh, damn it! That was a super chat alert. Nope. That's not giving me a drop down. On the XSplit help, it says you're supposed to be given it a drop down to pick an event. Mine ain't doing that. If I can use the non-HTML5 one, add another widget. Find more extensions. YouTube chat viewer. Live chat viewer. That's better. Right. So that one doesn't work, so delete that one off your trot. And that's the one I wanted right. So what I need to try and do is figure out how to keep this on screen and then not make it kind of intrusive. Maybe make it a bit transparent. Something like that. This one here. Still don't know what this super thanks one is. It's got a message. It says show ticket, and then it's got a message that I can put in. But I don't know what has got to happen for something to appear in the ticker. Show ticker, show alert. I'll just take the message out. Take that out. Right. That is that. That's sorted. Right, I think we are cooking on gas, mate. I think we're cooking on gas. Yes, doing good, mate. Doing good, Bernard. So I think tomorrow I'm going to start doing a VRED live stream because that's what I like to do. I sit and mess around with it in my free time. I might as well stream it. So I think what I'm going to do is an F1 car. Possibly Mercedes, possibly Ferrari. Bring it in from scratch, texture it up and make it look sweet. So I think I'll do that. What do I reckon engineering offices are going to look like post-COVID? I'm sure you have great fun fixing things for remote workers over the phone in recent weeks. It's been tricky for us. I think it differs based on what kind of infrastructure you've got and how much time you had to plan for it. You didn't really have much time to plan for this one. Maybe a couple of weeks, which for some smaller businesses is probably enough time to plan for it. For medium to large size companies, wasn't really enough time to plan for it. In an ideal world, we would have just given everyone laptops and then sent everyone home with laptops and given them VPN, and that would have been enough, but we couldn't do that, so we've kind of got to split maybe 20% of people using laptops. Those guys are mostly fine. And then 80% of people are using their own PCs and then remote desktop and into their desktops in the office, which isn't ideal. The annoying thing for me is that just before we all got sent home, I did the video on Frame, advertising the fact that you can spin up remote virtual cloud-based workstations. And the reason I was doing that and I was looking into it was kind of partly for, it was a video idea, obviously, something for the channel, but I was going to implement that at my day job. And it unfortunately got shot down because we just didn't really have, as it turned out, we kind of did have the time, but someone had to make a decision at the time as to whether they thought we had the time to look into it, and they thought, no, we probably don't, we could get sent home tomorrow. As it turned out, we kind of had another couple of weeks, which in my opinion would have been enough time to have got it set up and tested. But something like Frame, not even just Frame, just Azure, anything sort of remote cloud-based is possibly going to be massively helpful moving forward. Remote desktop into the office is not great. The amount of unreliable connections that you get with that, it just, not just like lag and performance issues, but it just natively just freezes. It just locks up for no apparent reason. Just hangs. PC hasn't dropped. Network connection hasn't dropped. Remote desktop just locks up and you shut it down, open remote desktop again and it's fine, which is really frustrating when you're using it. So remote desktop isn't a reliable long-term solution. So I think if a company decides, actually, we've done pretty good, we've done fine working from home, then we're going to adopt that sort of moving forward as a longer term strategy. Then I think something like virtual cloud terminals is going to be a good idea, because after testing it quite extensively for that video, they were pretty good, and they're only going to get better. They rely less as well on internet connections than remote desktop would as well, which is good. You're always going to need a good internet connection for the visuals to sort of come backwards and forwards and for response times and stuff, but it's definitely less of a reliance on your internet connection than remote desktop. But there is bigger issues around that, like if you've got a cloud-based workstation, how do you get at your company's data? How do you get at your company's vault? How do you get at your company's domain infrastructure, Active Directory? That there's challenges around that, because by default something like Frame isn't just linked into your Active Directory. You've got to then set up gateways and all kinds of stuff. So that's the kind of thing we kind of stopped and went, yeah, that's going to take a tiny bit of time to set up, and then we're stopped. So yeah, post-COVID, I think most companies are probably going to have to make a decision based on whether they think they need their staff to be permanently based in the office, and based entirely on how the last few months have been, or when they go back to work, the last few months will have been. For us, it's worked a treat. Apart from the odd connectivity issue, everyone seems to have just got on with it. Nobody's really had any issues. Nobody's, as far as I know, no one's gone mad. I'm sure some people are missing the kind of person-to-person communication, sort of, the interpersonal kind of relationships that you have at work. But I don't know. You've got Teams. You can still video conference people, and then you can maybe dedicate 1 or 2 days a week to the office if you need to. So I think it's definitely going to change things. I think, or it might not for some companies. They might just see this as a blip and stubbornly say, no, it's over. Everything goes back to normal. So I think it'll depend entirely on the company and who's running the show, if you know what I mean. Only while doing rotation, there are temporary disconnects, but model's smooth. Good. Yeah, I was looking back at this yesterday when I was doing this, and it seemed to be fine. The streaming PC is a pretty beefy PC. It's a 6-core Xeon with a Quadro P5000, which ain't bad. Actually, Quadro P5000 isn't the best for streaming PC because I don't think it. I'm getting weird messages in XSplit and Elgato about Quadros not supporting certain codecs and whatnot, but seems to be fine so far. Pascal, where's my shadow plane? If I just not bake them, I just might not bake the shadows on this one. Okay, maybe I just didn't make the shadows. There they are. Look at that. Look at the difference that makes. Just having a bit of shadow underneath it. Does look crispy. So yeah, this is one of the benchmarks that I've been running. I suppose nobody, if you weren't on the stream last night, you won't know anything about this. But over the last week, I've been benchmarking 5 graphics cards on GPU ray tracing. So obviously VRED's GPU ray tracing, Arnold and 3ds Max, Keyshot, Theia, V-Ray. I think that's it. But I've done a couple of tests on. I did 2 tests in Arnold and 2 tests in VRED, with volumetric lighting and depth of field and stuff like that. But yeah, this scene is one of the benchmarks that I was running. So I was testing like 2 2080 Ti's and SLI, single 2080 versus a 2060, RTX 3000, then some Pascal cards, P5000, GTX 1070, just seeing how the different GPUs ray trace scenes, so you can compare like how graphics cards perform on GPU ray tracing. If you're thinking about doing it and you're thinking about what graphics card you want to get and you're not sure where a graphics card is going to sit in terms of performance with rendering, because this is the future. It's not the future, it's happening now, but moving forward, I honestly think ray tracing on the GPU is where things are going to be at. So I think it's futile now thinking about buying a workstation and then speccing a CPU for ray tracing and for rendering, which is what you always did in the past. You'd spec a workstation for like Inventor, for example. I might do a bit of rendering, I'm going to do a bit of sales imagery. So you'd have to like maybe add a few extra cores onto the CPU. So you'd go for a bit of a slower frequency Xeon with a few more cores because you might be doing that bit of extra rendering work. That's all changing now. That's going to be totally different now in the future. It's all going to be forget about adding them extra cores in the CPU. It's going to all be GPU ray tracing, GPU rendering. Inventor team ain't going to be putting this in Inventor anytime soon. Slow face the Inventor team. I don't know what they'll never keep up with that kind of thing. But yeah, the benchmark scene that I've done was this one here. So set a rear camera up and then enabling GPU ray tracing from the rear end. Actually, that's CPU ray tracing. Come on, there we go. GPU. Let it initialize and then boom, set it away. So the benchmark test is letting this run from 1 through to 100 and seeing what kind of performance you get on different GPUs. So don't mind the pigeon. It's a little bit out of perspective. But if the pigeon wasn't there, you don't really realise that the car's kind of out of whack. It is kind of out of whack though, I think. Could probably reduce the perspective on the camera somewhat. Drop this down to maybe 40 or something. Damn it. 40. Put it down here. Tell you what, one thing I've never been able to figure out, amongst many things, is this goddamn perspective match. Can't for the life of me figure it out. I kind of do it by eye. You meant to take these little squares and then you drag them and put them onto like a little point of interest on the back plate. And then it aligns the camera with points of perspective on the back plate. So I can do that, but then the rest of them, I'm like, I don't know what it wants from me. I really don't know what it wants from me. I can never get it right. So I just do it by eye. But what have I ended up with there? I'm back at 50, so 50 just doesn't look right, so I'm going to put it at 40. And then, so I'll do that about there. Eye it up, get it about central. Make sure the wheels aren't that much bigger than the old Flappy Pigeons. Sort of about there. Turn on ray tracing, and then boom. All of a sudden, Bob's your uncle. It looks sweet. Looks really, really good. Oh, I love it. Actually, that doesn't look too good around there. That needs a bit of work. But it's just, this was just a benchmark test. This just took like an hour or two to put together. But had an interesting comment on LinkedIn from one of the guys from a computing firm in the States. He was like, you should pay attention. You should pay attention to the reflections on your tires. You have shiny reflections and glossy reflections on a rough surface. It doesn't look realistic, or something like that. I was like, au contraire, mate. Au contraire. Formula One tires do look like that when they're new. Because in the, I think it was last season, the 2019 season, Pirelli started cooking them in a chrome mould. So they come out of the mould with a nice shiny surface on them. So that's very intentional that they're shiny. So, yes. I never thought frame, unfortunately, it would be no use for us as we work on SolidWorks, which does not allow virtual PCs for standalone licenses. SolidWorks doesn't allow virtual PCs for standalone licenses. It's a bit backwards, isn't it? I mean, surely everyone does it. Because forever and a day, Autodesk didn't let you have your network license manager on a virtual server, but everybody did it. Everybody did it. Because it was like, look, mate, I know you say we can't do it, but we're doing it. What are you going to do? I mean, you could probably do quite a bit, but that's just the current modern world. We're virtualizing our servers. That bit of software needs to go on that virtual server. That's where we are right now. It's like buying a car and then someone saying, sorry, you can't driving on a road that's coloured grey. Like, well, what? Of course I'm going to. It's just... Anyway, so yeah, that's a bit backwards actually. It's strange. And it's strange that a SolidWorks users watching my channel saying, hi, greetings from the other side. Greetings from a Spanish working home arrest at UK Midlands. Greetings from Anne Spanish working on home arrest at UK's Midlands. So are you over here from Spain? I was supposed to be going to Spain. I was supposed to be going to Autodesk's OTX conference in Barcelona last 2 weeks ago, which got cancelled. Had a right hoo-ha with that. Supposed to get me money back on the hotel and the flight, and the hotel was like, no, you're not getting your money back. I was like, But I didn't cancel. Yes, but you got an early bird. You booked an early bird non-cancellation room. I was like, but I didn't cancel. Your government's stopping me from coming to the country. I haven't cancelled. We're not refunding your money. I think there might be in the end, but it was a right chew on. So, oh, Chris is here, so he's careful. I must have said something naughty. Hi, Chris. I retract anything that I said that was naughty. Onshape's feature load, that was improved a lot. A whole tool is a thing called blind and last. Yeah, I had a oh, that's you. Yeah, Alnus. Yes, you're in my Discord, aren't you? Yeah, you were saying Onshape's, because I thought Onshape was going to crumble. After it got acquired from PTC, but no, you seem to think that it's coming on quite strongly, so that's good, I guess. I must admit, I've not followed Onshape at all since I did the video on it when I first looked at it. That was a couple of years ago now, that mate. And I was like, modern card without the modern features. It was toilet. Like when I first looked at it, it was rubbish. So I kind of just moved on with my life after I looked at that and thought, yeah, it's not worth looking at again. And then obviously they got acquired from PTC. So I kind of looked, I didn't install it and use it again, but I kind of looked at it again and then I thought, yeah, kind of looked at how many people were using it. Because they sort of half published the numbers and the subscribers that were active at the time of the acquisition. It didn't look great. The number of users versus the valuation of the business was a bit strange, but if it's going well, it's going well, mate. That's if it's doing well for whoever's using it, it's good. F1 tyres don't look like a mirror though. Yes, they do, mate. Yes, they do. Right. I can't do it on this. I can't do it on this PC. F1. I mean, okay, they're not a mirror. They do have like a brushed groove to them, but come on, this was like an hour's work. F1 Pirelli tyres 2019. I'm just getting marketing shots of them. I found a shot of K-Mag when he was unveiling the Haas car, and you got a good picture of the nice shininess. There's one there. That's kind of shiny. That's kind of shiny. It's not quite a mirror, but then again, mine's not quite. Okay, mine's a bit more shiny. Nah. Alright, it's work in progress, but it's still shiny. SolidWorks comes with 2 keys per license. Well, Autodesks do as well. Sort of. You can use home license with Autodesk. I don't know whether that's the same for SolidWorks, but yeah, Autodesk has a home use policy, which is technically 2 keys. So you can install it at work on your work PC and then go home and install it and activate it again on your home PC, providing that you're using it for the same business. You're not like, if you work in a metal banging shop and you've bought a license for that and then you go home, you're not then installing it to then go and design, I don't know, like garden sheds for your friends and family. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be for that line of work. But yeah, there's 2 per license for Autodesk stuff as well. Studio's painful. Yes. Unreal Engine's looking like a nice free alternative for getting good quality renders and stills. I've tried Unreal Engine. It's one of those ones where like you install it and then you open it up and you look at it and you're like, this looks like a lot of work. This looks like it's going to take up a lot of my time. And I thought, no, I haven't got time for that. Even tutorials, when you look at Unreal Engine tutorials, because it's free, there's a lot of tutorials. And I think the good ones are really hard to find. They tend to be fragmented as well. So I struggle to find a tutorial that started at the right spot and would take you through to where you needed to be. So it was a bit difficult. I have thick skin, very not. I mean, when I say you're stuck in the past, I mean, there's plenty of evidence to back it up. I think you prioritize what matters, I guess. That's probably the best way of putting it. Which is, I guess that's you guys know the Inventor team. They know their clientele better than anyone else. So when you've got the likes of me going, oh, why haven't you put VR in yet? Oh, why can't I point my phone at a desk and have a machine appear on a desk doing cogs and gears and stuff? Oh, why can't I do graph? You guys would probably be like, look, mate, 99% of our customer base just don't give a shit about any of that stuff. And I'm like, but I do. Yeah, but 99% of our customer base don't. And I'm like, okay. So I get it. But I think it just feels like there's been a lot of modern advancements that are kind of come and gone and probably will come and go and sort of bypass Inventor. Like I think like SolidWorks, for example, I think they've already began adopting RTX, and I just can't see that happening in Inventor because it's not even. I mean, obviously I've beaten this horse to death, but it's just not GPU accelerated whatsoever. But their SolidWorks kind of utilizing RTX, which is the kind of next big advancement in graphics technology. But then again, does the clientele generally, on a wider basis, really care? I don't know. I do, but does anyone else? I don't know. SolidWorks will not install on a VM if it picks. What? If it picks up its. Okay. If you're talking about virtual machines and a cloud machine, different. Are they different things? They can. Well, no, they're sort of the same. License serving key needs to be acquired prior to the actual installation. SolidWorks Inventor and a Red user. How does it pick up if it's in a virtual environment? That's some shenanigans there. If you could take away the reflection, it would look good. Are you saying it doesn't look good, mate? Oh, for God's sake. Right, let's... Tire tread rear. Let's knock it down a bit. Get rid of the wireframe because it gets in the way. I think the glossy texture that I've gone in there might be a bit much, but if I get rid of the glossy texture, it looks flat, and then it really does look like a mirror. That didn't help. Let's knock it down. Now you see, now it's getting out of whack because this model it's a game asset from Assetto Corsa, which is a sim racing game. It is a game. It's more of a simulator. It's the ACFL 2018 Formula One car. So for whatever reason, just the way they've modelled the car, this tread and the tyre wall are two separate models, two separate bits of geometry, which isn't the best. I could merge them, but then this texture here, I don't think I'd be able to UV map that on. I'd have to manually decal it onto the side. It's just, I can't. It's just this is the way it ended up. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it that way. 0.2. Let's try. It's going a bit. That's the sidewall, right? A bit. No, that looks daft. That doesn't look right. I mean, this tyre did come with its own texture, but the texture is a game asset. It's a picture of a tyre tread, which I can stamp onto it, but it looks cartoony, which is why I've tried to use proper materials and proper textures. Hey, it looks fine when you drop it into Photoshop. You can fix anything in post. Yeah, it's got no tread on it. It would need work. It's basically just a cylinder. It's a smooth cylinder. So there's nothing I can do to make it look like a tire by grabbing these sliders, because there is literally no tread on it. So I'd have to play around with textures and bump maps, and I'll have to make a bump map probably, because yeah, it literally is just a smooth cylinder. So we'll sort that out when I start doing it for realsies on stream. I'll bring in the Formula One Ferrari car and we'll do it with that. One thing I did do, which I'm not a fan of, I did it for the benchmark is I added a reflection, well, I upped the reflection on the Red Bull car. But the one thing I love about the Red Bull car is the paint finish on their car. It's like if you've seen BMW's cars, they've got this paint type called Frozen. It's like a matte, like the light just sort of scatters across the paint. It looks really nice, and that's kind of what the Red Bull car is. So Red Bull car. You can kind of see it there. So it's not reflective. I think it's something to do with it's a lighter kind of paint or something. I don't know. And another thing that happened as well, which is pretty awesome, is that I managed to team up with Maground. Thanks to Pascal as well for the introduction. But Maground have allowed me to take my pick from their library of HDRIs. So I've taken about 7 HDRIs from Maground's catalogue. And I think I can just take my pick from whichever ones I want, which is pretty nice. So I've got some nice backgrounds and HDRIs to use for when I start doing this for realsies. But yeah, this is just so much fun. So much fun. But GPU ray tracing is awesome. And this system that I'm using is two 2080 Ti's and SLI. Looking forward to getting the next series as well, 30 series, seeing what they can do. Because rumour has it, the top end GeForce card, which will be the 3080 Ti, is 40% faster than the top end 2080 Ti. What that will mean for the top end Quadro, I don't know. I will probably never get my hands on it. Unfortunately, they'll be sending it out to Linus so you can play Minecraft on it. But hey ho. Let's turn on. Let's make this real time. Let's check my rendering settings. So we've got full global illumination. Make sure we've got a trace of 1.1. See physical cameras. See. Right, I didn't want to shut that down. Why did you do that, Neil? Deep learning always, and then is nice. So this deep learning denoiser is obviously not production quality, but it does give you a really, really good idea of where the lighting is going to be and how the shadows are going to be prior to hitting the big fat go button before you do your render. It's really helpful. Right, I'm going to knock it on the head in a minute before I get carried away, because I could just sit, and I do just sit here all night doing this. Right. Do you still have the BAC mono assembly? I've got it somewhere, mate. I don't think I've opened it up in a couple of years, but that was probably one of the most entertaining videos that I've done. I want to take a look at that again. In fact, I'm going to open up the picture that I did. I did a ray traced image in Inventor of the BAC mono. And that was one of the most fun I've had in Inventor ever. And I think it's one of the most, like, just, I don't know, it should have, the video that I did on that should have been a lot more, I don't know, it just didn't seem to have picked up and got taken through on YouTube as much as I thought it would have done. It just seemed to die a death and fizzle out. Okay, that looks pretty pathetic. There we go, that's Inventor. That's Inventor's ray tracing. I do have others here somewhere. Where you at? Oh, here we go. Oh, yes. There you go. That's a good. There you go. That's a screen grab of the model in Inventor, ray traced. And that's Inventor 2016. What, like 5 years ago? That was fun. That was fun. And then I've got this one here. That was fun. So, I mean, it's all the same model. It's just different perspectives, different angles, all done in Inventor. This is all done in the main window of Inventor. It's not Inventor Studio. It's just the main viewport of Inventor. And then the picture in the background was me just setting Inventor's background instead of it having just a coloured gradient set as a photograph of a road. Worked well. I haven't looked at these like since not long after I did them, and they're pretty flipping good. Like for Inventor, they're pretty flipping good. I forgot how good they were. Yeah, I might revisit that. I don't know how. This is like one of the challenges of YouTube is that you think, yeah, that's good. I could do something with that, but then you think, how? What am I going to do with that? How are you going to weave that into a video, Neil? What is there to it? And then you sit there thinking about it and think, yeah, okay, well, it's a future problem. I was so jealous you had access to that. It's not a proper model, really. It's a demo set, so it's not like it's full of genuine Inventor holes and extrusions. I mean, some parts have, but it's not like it's full of engineering that you can study and look at. And it's like a mixture of different models, bits and pieces, sort of. And I'm sure whoever put it together used lots of smoke and mirrors to make it look good and for it to work well. But yeah, it was a good data set though. But then that was before I got into VRED, and then once I got into VRED, it opened up a whole bunch of car models, the likes of this, that I thought, well, this is just much more fun. You know, if I want to play around with the car, I might as well play around with this. But it's kind of quite powerful to do those kind of renders in Inventor. It's kind of pushing it to the limit, really. Does this mean you're going to do more live streams again? Yes, mate. Yes, mate. I'm going to try anyway. If the stream holds up, I will do, yes. I just need to get a comfortable setup, because I've got like a monitor over there, and then I'm reading chat over on the right, but it's YouTube's studio chat, so every time I'm kind of scrolling through it, it's sort of jumping up and down. So I need to figure out a solution for that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna just be streaming VRED, because based on all of my research that I've been doing, looking through the videos that I've been doing, I mean, granted, it's probably a bit biased because I've done more VRED videos recently than Inventor, but just tons of people wanted to watch the process. It's, I guess, because that's kind of what people do nowadays. I do it myself. You just watch people doing stuff. If it's someone just, I don't know, editing a photograph or playing a game or, I don't know, editing a video, whatever they're doing, it's just soothing sometimes to watch someone do something. And I think people want to watch the whole process of doing something like this, starting with pretty much nothing and then creating a masterpiece with dodgy tires. So yeah, I'm going to probably do that. But it's part of a bigger push. I mentioned this, so just to wrap this up. Make sure there's no other questions. Scrolling up and up and up and up and up and up. Which is better? Would you say V-Ray or Arnold? I don't know, mate. I don't know. I haven't used Arnold or V-Ray in anger. So I don't know. I wouldn't even like to guess. maybe I would imagine it's one of those questions where, like, if you start googling, you'll just end up down a rabbit hole of fanboys who fanboy for either or, and hate on the other one just because they like the one they go for. So I don't know. Anyway, right. So just to wrap this up, yeah, this is all part of a bigger push, which I mentioned on the last stream. So just to wrap this up, I'll go through this once more. In the next week or so, I'm going to be possibly enabling memberships on the channel, which is like an extra tier of kind of subscription videos for the channel. It's not definite yet, but it's kind of reliant on someone at Autodesk saying, yes, you can use the licenses that I've currently got. So like this VRED license that I'm using now, it's a certain license type, which is granted to me on a program that I'm on, and I'm not supposed to use it to create videos for anything that's sort of commercial based. So it's based on whether or not I get permission to do that. If I don't get permission to do that, then I've got some big decisions to make. But if they do, then these memberships are going to be enabled, and there's going to be a couple of tiers of memberships coming, possibly like a whole series of inventor training videos, which would have otherwise not happened. You'll probably notice, like, over the last year or so, in fact, a couple of years, there's not been that many inventor tips and tricks, mostly because I've exhausted most of the stuff that I've had up here. Anything else that I would have done, I'd have had to have gone out my way to kind of learn and then figure out and structure and then somehow put together. And after, 400 videos I've done, so at that point you kind of, what else do you do? But if memberships are enabled, I'll probably think about putting together some kind of training course material that people can subscribe to. So that's coming, hopefully, provided that I can use my licenses for that. And then there might be another membership above that for Vault stuff, maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured that bit out yet. But yeah, it's just all part of trying to make this whole channel work better for me, because it isn't really kind of given back what I've put in. It is a bigger picture, so I'm just trying to make that work. So these memberships, a lot of other channels have sort of started to enable them as a good way of keeping going. And this would replace the likes of Patreon for me, probably. Yeah, I think it probably would. Patreon didn't really work out because I didn't really promote it that much. I think out of the 3 or 4 years that it was going, I think in total about 30 to 40 people ended up going over to Patreon, which was not the best. So I'm going to turn that on and then see what happens with it. It's kind of the last hurrah to see what we can make with this. So that's something I'm going to be doing. So I'm open to ideas on that. If anyone's got any ideas on what... I've got plenty of ideas on how I can make memberships work for the channel. It's just whether or not whether I'm allowed to do them, really. So it's all based on getting the thumbs up, excuse me, from Autodesk to use my licenses on them. But yeah, open to ideas. And yeah, thanks to everyone who's... Every time I talk about this, everyone says thank you for the videos, and I super appreciate that. I know the videos have helped a hell of a lot of people over the years, and it's been absolutely worthwhile. And they'll always be there. So if the memberships do get enabled, the channel as it is now, it's going to stay as normal. Nothing's going to change. The stuff that goes into memberships will be stuff that just wouldn't have otherwise happened. It's like cable TV, I guess. You'll get your regular stuff, and then there'll be extra channels that you can subscribe to, so I suppose. So I have to make it so that they're worthwhile. And another thing which I'm considering, which I don't know if it's going to work out, it seems a bit cheesy, but it might work, I don't know, is possibly offering my own subscribers the chance or the opportunity to advertise on my channel to my other subscribers. Like within my pool of subscribers, say there's 55,000 of you lot, there'll be clients of yours within my subscriber base. There'll be potential customers of yours within my subscriber base, but they'll never know that you exist, and you won't know that they exist. And I think what I'm thinking about doing is like having a monthly membership where you can possibly put your name and your company name in a video, and like a paid advert to flash up at the start of a video or at the end of the video, like Joe's Fabrication Services, blah blah blah. We do this, that, and the other. Here's an email or whatever. I don't know. Contact this for. I don't know. We're located in Colorado or something like that. So pay to advertise you to other, because your potential customers could be watching me. So that's just something else I'm playing with. Might work, might not, but you like the inventor challenges? Yeah, I know the inventor challenges is something else I need to think about. It got to the point. It was just before Autodesk University was the last one. It was that daft puzzle. Actually, the puzzle wasn't that daft. It was really good. A lot of people thought it was daft, but it was really good. But then AU happened, and then Christmas happened, and then New Year happened, and then lots of stuff at work happened, and then I just didn't get a chance to create another one. But yeah, that's kind of something that I can always use as filler content for the regular channel videos, which is something I need to do. But so the whole point of this, guys, right? The whole point of this, like I said on the last stream, is I want to make this more of a. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but the goal is to make this full time. Because for as long as I'm doing this at 10 o'clock at night now, and I'm doing it at midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning, for as long as I'm doing that, I never have the time to create all the videos that I want to create. I don't have time to edit benchmark videos, to put charts together, to test cards, to create CAD challenges, to do all that stuff when it's after a day job. So the goal is to do it full time. But the only way I'm ever going to do it full time is if something like a membership structure works. But I need to make that membership structure worthwhile and somehow appealing. So I'll have to have a think about it. Rail Shadow Legends, but for engineering. Kinda, yeah. But yeah, it's because like every other YouTuber, they'll take adverts and sponsorships from random brands, D-brand here and Squarespace there and bloody Skillshare here, and but why not you? You can advertise yourself. Might work, might not. I don't know. It's just something I thought of, and I thought for the price that it'll be, which is pretty minimal, it's probably not a bad idea. If it wins you one job, it gets you one lead. I don't know. Lions Tech Tips made a video about where their money comes from. Yeah. Yeah, right. Okie dokie. So that was a good turnout. It's an hour. That's all I wanted to do. I'm going to knock it on the head here, mate. That's all I've got. So I'm going to go and do a full stream probably tomorrow. There's a couple of videos coming up. I've got the GPU ray tracing video to do. I've got all the results done. I need to edit that up and release that at some point this week. And then, I'm just going to do some more live streams this week on VRED. And then hopefully Autodesk come back and say, yes, you can use our licenses for this membership thing. And then I'm rocking and rolling. If not, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But, right. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you for turning up. I do appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next stream. Toodles.